Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas. Only one place to start today's programme, and that's at Wembley. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 0 in the semi-final of the FA Cup. A brace from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang proving to be the difference between the two sides. Here to discuss the match with me, Shaka, Hislop, Hutchison and Stevie Nicols. Stevie, let's start with you. Where did this come from?
Well, you got to say that Arsenal did something that I really didn't think they were capable of, and as individuals defensively, I didn't think they were capable of it as well. So, I mean, what a performance from okay, you could say at times they had every man behind the ball, but you still got to be in good positions, you still got to make good decisions, and you still got to make smart challenges. And quite frankly, Martinez in goal didn't really have too much to do himself because the men in front of him were so good. At the same time, I think this has to be the worst Man City performance under Pep since he's got there. I mean, it was just awful defensively. Nothing happened very quickly in the middle of the park. And up front, an absolute shadow of a team who we were saying before this game would create chances, but would they be able to take them? Well, you know what? They didn't create anything. And when you don't create, you can't take it. So I think we're going to have to praise Arsenal defensively because we have given them pelters, particularly David Luiz. I've given him a lot of stick, but today I thought he was absolutely immense.
Well, let's stay with the positive, shall we, Stevie, and talk about Arsenal in a little more depth. You were given the task of giving the player ratings for Arsenal. Aubameyang, 10 out of 10. David Luiz, 9 out of 10. Tierney, 9. Mustafi, 9. Incredible.
Well, you know what? When you don't make a mistake at all, and when you are one of the main reasons why your team has beaten one of the best, and probably before this game they were favourites for the Champions League, when you do everything correct, you deserve to get praise, and that's why Mustafi gets 9. Again, I've given Mustafi pelters.
Yep.
He's put a performance in today that he hasn't done in an Arsenal shirt for, well, I don't know whether he's ever been as good as he was today.
That's it, isn't it, Shaka? These Arsenal players rising to the occasions, and we have been so critical of them. However, on today's showing, their defence was exceptional.
Yeah, without question, and I totally agree with Steve. I'll go so far as to say, if we were doing those scores in comparison to what we'd seen from Mustafi, Tierney, and Luiz over recent weeks, and maybe what we expected, they could quite easily get 13 or 14 out of 10. That's how much better they were. Saying that, I thought, and I was very critical of Arteta recently, and I think he had to bear some of the responsibility for some of their losses, but he got it absolutely right. Back three, none of the three centre-backs tried to do anything special or crazy. It went even a little bit further in David Luiz in the pass that brought about the first goal. For me, I thought Bellerin was simply outstanding. And the role that he played down the right-hand side, which allowed Pepe to either take the wing back on or go inside, for me, Bellerin was absolutely key to everything about Arsenal. Saying that, it seems unfair to pick out one player over the other, with the exception of Aubameyang for his goals, because everybody did what was asked and everybody did so really well today.
Don, we'll talk about Manchester City in a moment, but continuing that focus on Arsenal, we've talked about the back and how good they were. The goals, though, needed to be scored. Two quality, very different finishes from Aubameyang.
Yeah, the first Aubameyang finish was unreal. I mean, he missed a sitter for his standards just before that, and you wondered, were they going to get another chance, Arsenal? And it was a really unusual technique, but a brilliant finish. Then the second goal, once he's racing away, great ball from Kieran Tierney over the top. No one's going to catch him. Benjamin Mendy playing him onside, nowhere near high enough. Then once he's away, bearing down on Ederson, you only fancied he was going to finish it. There was not a doubt in my mind when he raced through 1v1. I thought he was going to finish it. But I think Arteta simplified it, for his players. He hasn't tried to make Arsenal an open, expansive team because he knows they're not good enough. So he's put them in a defensive shape. Everyone's buying into it. They've done the same game plan against Liverpool, same game plan against Man City. And they made Man City, which we've never said before, look very, very ordinary.
How much of a positive step is this going forward for Arsenal, Stevie?
Listen, if they're going to turn up and play like that every game, then we know what they're capable of. If they're going to defend with 11 men behind the ball. The truth is, Arsenal don't want to be a team that plays against the so-called big, better teams and sticks 11 men behind the ball. That's not what Arteta really wants to do. What he did today was what he had to do. Arsenal going forward have to turn into a Man City or a Liverpool and play open attacking football. That's what they want to be doing. That's what and certainly Arteta wants to do. So, listen, it's a one-off. Typical FA Cup tie. The underdog won by sticking men behind the ball. It's happened 100 times before, and it happened today again. But this is not how Arsenal want to play in the future.
But it's effective. We mentioned before they did it against Liverpool, Don. Is this something to build on, or is it a false dawn?
No, I think it's something to build on. I think if you're an Arsenal fan watching that tonight, you'd be optimistic that you can see signs of where they're going. You know, Mesut Ozil's just been cast aside from Arteta. Guendouzi got brought into his office a couple of weeks back, and apparently Arteta gave him 2 minutes, of real verbal abuse and told him to sort his life out. And then he actually went into the dressing room as well and told all the Arsenal players exactly what he said to Guendouzi. So the manager's standing firm in his beliefs, and if everyone or people don't want to follow him, I'm pretty sure he'll be ruthless enough to get them out the door. And that's what we're seeing. For far too long, people like Mesut Ozil and others have had an easy ride at Arsenal. The culture's been terrible. So if you're an Arsenal fan now, you can see people like Joe Willock coming to the side. I thought Maitland-Niles was excellent tonight, playing in that left wing-back slot. I thought he was immense. Saka, there's loads of young kids that are signing contracts. And I wouldn't say they're dragging their experienced players up, but Lacazette looks fit now. Lacazette wasn't match fit probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. We know Aubameyang's quality, so you can see signs if you're an Arsenal fan just for something to cling on to. And when they get results against Liverpool and get results against Man City in a semi-final of a cup, you've got to be optimistic.
Final word on this with you, Shaq.
Absolutely. I think this is something for Arsenal to build on. Listen, Liverpool continue to be the best team in English football, if not Europe, by asking their front three to carry a heavy load. I know there's a far better supporting cast, but in Arsenal's case, probably their best and highest paid players are the attacking three. And I think what Arteta did today was send them out and say, you carry that load, and say to the defense and the midfield, you all just stay behind the ball and get those guys to earn their money. And I think that's what they did. That's something you can build on. As I say, it's a long way between where they are now, even with this performance, and where Liverpool are. But it also is a long way from what we've seen from Arsenal over recent weeks.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.